This is a preview of one of the staple Mike McDaniel's concepts in terms of offensive philosophy. It's going to be a toss stretch concept out of either 12 personnel or 21. The Dolphins can use them interchangeably, just like he did when he was offensive coordinator at the 49ers. The manner in which he does it is either by using a versatile fullback or two tight ends on the field. It's an under center toss concept. I'll show you how successful they are at using it, at least in week one against the Patriots. I'll show you one way that the Patriots, quote, stopped it. Show you other teams using it, and then reflect on how the Dolphins have used it in previous seasons, or excuse me, how Mike McDaniel has used it in previous seasons before he came to the Dolphins. Let's get right into the film. You'll typically get the all-22 and the end zone angle from each play. I think you've got a tight end down here to the bottom side and a fullback number 30 to the top side. What characterizes this toss stretch play for them under center is the front side slot engaging the edge defender or the outside linebacker, in this case, Matt Judon. And then as he's being engaged by the first blocker, the second tight end coming in motion knocks him off his path. So essentially it's a pseudo combo block by the guy who's in motion. So you're going to get the first attempt at a block here, and that blocker understands that the second tight end coming in motion is going to chip him. Now, later on, you'll see a play from the Bills' Week 1 win over the Rams where the second tight end who chips and then works up to the front side, boundary side corner. That's one of the elements of this play that's interesting. It's run to the boundary in almost each instance. So they're taking advantage of the space that's over there to the boundary, probably running it away from the nickel defender. If you're a Ravens fan, generally I think you're going to see this play to the boundary side. Watch how these backside defenders get cut off by the offensive linemen for the Dolphins. So you're talking about the center, the left guard, and the left tackle. See how they've closed off the pursuit here? This D tackle was blocked by 74 initially, and then 74 works up and closes off a second defender. So this motion, to me, is going to have to elicit some type of response by the Ravens if they want to stop this quite simple play that can gain 6, 8, 10 yards a pop. It's been a staple play for Mike McDaniel, 49ers last year against the Rams. Boundary, toss, again, expanding the edge defender after he's initially been engaged by the front side tight end, which I think is Kittle's. So he's going to engage, I think, 54 here. He's got him engaged. And then the second guy in motion knocks him off his path further, creating that cutback lane, or that lane for the running back to cut through, I guess I should say, while you have a wall created by the front side, right guard, right tackle, and center. End zone angle, same play, really taking advantage of the Rams. And another element to this that you'll get is the wide receiver will leave the boundary side corner unblocked, and instead he'll go work to the boundary side safety in a two-safety structure. So again, it will leave this corner unblocked initially. Remember what I said about the tight end who goes in motion. Now, he's not doing it on this play, but you'll see it on the Bills play in a moment. He will chip the edge defender to get that lane expanded, and then after chipping, he'll work up to the corner. So it's almost like a timing block system whereby the guy in motion is comboing up to the corner. Really unique. All right, week 1 against the Rams. Here's the Bills using it. You will get a great example of what I said. Again, there's the edge defender being expanded by what is essentially a combo block at this point, and then 41 works to the boundary side corner. One element to this that we'll bring up consistently, again, it's run to the boundary. So the short side of here's the ball's on the left hash. So this is the short side of the field or the boundary, and then here is the field. This corner is unblocked. I think the receiver is going to go and act like he's going to stalk the corner, and then he's going to work to the boundary side safety. The guy in motion, 41, is going to chip the edge defender, and then as this number 1 receiver, is finishing his fake stalk block and going to safety, 41 is now going to release up to the corner. Doesn't get a huge piece of him, don't get me wrong, But you can see conceptually how they're accounting for every defender. You can see the impact that it has on the edge defenders as well. This is Knox, the tight end, who has now expanded this edge defender all the way to the sideline because he got help from number 41 in motion. End zone angle, you'll see the expansion of that edge defender. What are edge defenders taught? Keep your outside arm free. Don't let anything get outside of you. So he's got his outside arm free, but the problem is he's getting expanded so far because of the concept. This isn't a matchup that he's losing necessarily. I mean, he's losing the block to Knox initially, don't get me wrong. But it's the scheme, it's the execution of it, getting 2 for 1, and then the offensive line executing it. Now, they have a little bit of a change-up variation to it. I would call this split zone toss. We'll bring this back. Again, the motion into the boundary would typically mean you're going to get tossed to the boundary. With this tight end and the guy in motion, the fullback, comboing or double teaming for a moment that edge defender. Now they're going to change it up on you. Maybe you've adjusted. In this case, the Rams have. They appear to have 2 inside linebackers on the field now because they've been getting outnumbered to the boundary so much. Motion. And now what they're doing is they're going to cut the field side edge defender with the boundary side tight end. And then basically it's split zone. They're running zone into the boundary because they're getting all the defenders moving this way because they've been tossed so much. Then the running back is going to cut it back up inside of this kick out cut block by the boundary side tight end. Cool concept. That's one of the counters they have if you try to overcompensate for stopping it to the boundary. So Mike McDaniel's got a dangerous, scary concept here, if you ask me. And I'm sure that the Dolphins can execute this with the personnel that they have. Edmonds, the smaller running back, is very talented. Those tight ends block well. It's going to be a physical game. I would look for something similar to the Ravens home game against the 49ers in 2019, whereby it's a difficult, weather permitting, obviously. Hopefully it's a cleaner game than that one was. All right, how do you stop it? Well, one way, and now this is ran to the field here, just so you know. You get the strong safety or the nickel, who's a hell of a player for the Patriots, rolled up. And as this tight end is going to engage the edge defender, now this time I think you got a receiver going in motion to double team this edge defender. Watch what 21 does. He's just going to shoot the inside gap because he understands it's a double team, and this tackle is supposed to work up to him at some point, so he's going to beat that tackle to the punch. Is this what the Ravens should do every time? I'm not sure. You don't want to open yourself up for play action, obviously. But this is an example of someone, getting in the backfield, making penetration, and stopping the play. Difficult concept to prepare for, being that the Dolphins are going to have complementary plays or even primary plays that are going to go to the field out of the same formation with the same personnel on the field. I think this is a keep you honest play is what I would describe it as. Something that if you overcompensate to the field defensively and you do not have numbers to the boundary, like in this case, the Rams were always setting their nickel to the field, which everyone does, don't get me wrong. In this case, Jalen Ramsey is playing the nickel to the field. That's a corner, a safety, a boundary safety, and a corner. Only one inside linebacker. So the gap, the vacated space here, from the 49ers' perspective that they're trying to attack, is this space here where there is no equivalent nickel defender, obviously, because you only play defense with 11 guys. So what they're going to do is just try to attack you to the boundary if you align your nickel to the field constantly with a balanced formation. It's 2 by 2. So if you're lining up to the field consistently versus a balanced formation, he's got ways to attack you on the backside or the boundary side of that 2 by 2 formation. I'll be looking at some more concepts that Mike McDaniel runs out of particular formations, to be honest with you. It would be quite easy for me to just do a preview talking about Tyreek Hill, Waddle, and what those guys can accomplish, particularly if the Ravens corners are not able, some of the Ravens top corners are not able to go. Marlon Humphrey, Brandon Stevens, Marcus Peters, obviously we're all waiting for his return. That's an easy video to talk about. I don't think you guys come to my channel for that. I think you come here to see someone talk about the film, try to explain elements of it to you, and give you a heads up of things to look for at certain moments during the game. This is one of them that I identified as a core concept that Mike McDaniel will use, generally to the boundary, even though this last play that I'm showing you here is to the field. Normally, out of 12 personnel or 21. And I think number 30 is listed as a fullback, but he looks like a hybrid fullback tight end guy. There's a couple of other formations and play concepts that I want to talk about him specifically, where they're trying to take advantage of defenses kind of overcompensating for Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Appreciate you guys checking out the video. Let me know what you think of these conceptual videos. A little different than my preview for the Jets game because, there was so much time to prepare for that one. This one you have less than a week. If you take into account 2 or 3 days of film study. So more difficult to get previews out on a Wednesday or a Thursday, to be honest with you. Trying to stay ahead. If you have any play concepts you'd like to see me preview, any particular matchups, I can try to address that if possible. This one was interesting for me to do because I remember seeing this play run by the Bills in Week 1 against the Rams. And I obviously remember the 49ers running against the Rams last year, and I think even in 2020, but I could be wrong. And now here we are with the Ravens, and we're going to get a chance to operate against it. See how I think Mike McDaniel and his staff are very structured. I think they are very if-then. Last year's offensive staff for Miami, they didn't have as much talent, number one. Number two, against the Ravens, when we played them down there in Miami, I think they relied on the trick play more because we were just shutting them down. Defensively, we were. They had 2 trick plays on their second touchdown drive that really salted the game away, in my opinion, before the fumble return for a touchdown, obviously. So let me know what you think of the video, or what you think of my breakdown of this toss stretch, where they're comboing the boundary side edge defender, or really expanding him. Not sure what the answer is on that motion. Roll the corners up, spill it, make the play go outside, possibly. I don't know. Appreciate you guys checking out the video. Let me know what you think of some of my thoughts and what you think of this play, if you think it's as dangerous as I perceive it to be.